What's up, everybody? I'll try that again. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hook the Leg podcast. We're here to talk about WWE Bad Blood 2024. And I'm here with Allstar, aka Bjorn.
Howdy.
Stuart, aka StuartYeah.
Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Pretty good. And Adriana, aka CosmicAdri, from the Heartbreak Wrestling podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for being here and taking time out of your day to talk about wrestling. I really, really appreciate it. Now, Bad Blood was this Saturday. Should we get right into it?
Indeed.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go for it.
Okay, so just a first thought to get out of the way. These I love these 5-match shows. You know, the nice, easy watches, but they make them feel longer than they actually are, with the long advert breaks in between matches, and we're even getting ads for next year's SummerSlam. It's
Yeah.
feels a bit early for that, but hey guys, SummerSlam coming next summer. Surprise, surprise, featuring Cardi B. But yeah,
When
the show.
ticket prices are that high, they have to be starting to plug in that shit immediately, don't they? But it works.
Is this something
That's like my kids. It's like my kids with a Christmas list. There's plenty of shopping days left. Here's what I want.
Well, I do remember getting that Christmas list started very, 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 very early, so I understand the excitement. But do you think this is something they're going to stop, or just not so much with the free tier on Peacock? Maybe when they go to Netflix. Although I hear, even though it's going to be on Netflix, we're still going to get a shit ton of ads.
Yeah, as long as the pay-per-views are not behind like a paywall, I think I can deal with the ads as a bit of a as a bit of a compromise. But
A separate paywall on Netflix. They better not do that.
Well, we haven't heard anything. We haven't heard they're not going to do that, so we can just fingers crossed for the minute.
Jesus.
I'm liking my $9.99 a month.
Yeah, but I imagine with stuff like WWE going into Netflix, we may be looking at a price rise sooner rather than later. But anyway, yeah, the show kicks off. God bless America. It's not even WrestleMania, but you know, let's put our hands over our chest and say God bless America on at the start of every PLE. I mean, can't we do that, guys? Especially me and you, Stuart.
Oh yeah. It got me pumped. It did.
But yeah, Triple H and Cody meet in the parking lot because they can't remember where they parked their car. And Triple H tells Cody to go and find Metro Boomin. So Cody and Metro then stake out the State Farm Arena in case the arena commits a crime. I don't know what was going on there, but Bianca, Jade, and Naomi are the hosts of the PLE. I don't know. I still don't really know what hosts of these wrestling shows actually do, but nice to see them. It's just a shame they couldn't be put into a match. But yeah, they are our hosts, and they welcome us to the show. And we open with Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell. And Adriana, I just want to cut to you immediately for your thoughts with this. They both got very bloody. Did you enjoy it? How many stars out of 5?
Like 7 out of 5. Because listen, when I heard they were gonna bleed, I was like, they better like do it. Like, I don't want them just to get some cuts. I was expecting like real blood, so I'm happy they like went for it. I was very, very satisfied.
Oh boy, did they go for it! Yeah, you certainly got your early Christmas wish granted. Jesus Christ! But yeah, I mean, really nice to see that the days of WWE. I've done that thing again where we've opened with the wrong thumbnail. Jesus, this is amateur hour. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, the days of WWE stopping matches to mop up people's blood. That's completely over, and thank God for that, because some awkward moments and a lot of booing when they've paused these matches to stitch people's heads up midway through. But yeah, really strong stuff. Now let's go into it. Starts off with trading right hands, cheers for Punk, boos for Drew, kicks from Punk, but Drew overpowers, gets the heat in the corner. The guys immediately take it outside. Huge crowd, and they are loud. On Punk's tights, there's 3 stars and 1 heart. Imagine that was for you, Adriana. Huh?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, certainly not for me, the bastard. Never returns my calls. But yeah, Punk gets a table out early. Well, I think they were "We Want Table" chants. So Punk gets that table out. The crowd lose their shit. A chair comes into play. Punk eats it, and now we all know where Drew stands on Punk, firmly on his neck on the steel steps. Drew produces a heavy-looking toolbox from under the ring, and McIntyre tries to strike Punk with a wrench from the box, but misses, and Punk gouges Drew's forehead with it. Back in the ring, Punk drop toe holds McIntyre into the side of the table, then stabs Drew with the dismembered legs of the table, and there's this spike coming out of this table leg that really, really worried me. Luckily, there wasn't any extra or early colour there, but yeah, some really inventive use of the table there. It was really good stuff. GTS attempt, but Drew hits the Claymore on the outside. McIntyre drives Punk's face into the cell wall, and Punk's bleeding already. The big cheers from Adriana. Is that all men have to do these days? Just bleed heavily?
I think so. I think more wrestlers would get over if they just bled. They would get a lot of new female audiences. Like, that's something people don't know. Like, women love blood. We are kind of crazy.
This is new information for me, and yeah, it's always great to get these tips. So first date, it's just nice to meet you. Blah. That's just going to work with any woman, is it?
It might. Like, I don't know.
It might, or immediately to prison. One of
those. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the ring, Punk drops. I've done that already. No. Yeah, Punk drop toe holds McIntyre into. No, I have done that already. My mistake. GTS attempt, and there's fix the screen chants. These seem to be a regular occurrence in these wrestling pay-per-views, right? Lights shining in people's faces, screen's not working. But what can you do? Drew says he's going to end Punk's career, and his wife is going to leave him. I don't. Why is she going to leave him? It's like
you're trying to get into his head, isn't he? Just trying to get into his head. Didn't really make a lot of sense, but the violence made up for it. I think the bleeding was enough. It was a great match, wasn't it? Like it was everything that it needed to be. This match. The obvious comparison was always going to be with Hangman versus Swerve cage match, and people were like, they're never going to top it. There was obviously the tribalists online were looking at it going, oh, it's just going to be PG, dumbed down WWE, and they gave us everything and more in this match. It was the right level of violence with the right level of story. So yeah, I think going back to that Triple H versus Undertaker at WrestleMania 20.
20 something.
28? Yeah, 28. We'll say 28. Hell in a Cell, where it cuts to Triple H and Undertaker, and they're picking up what they're saying on camera, really further in that storyline. We got a lot of that in this match as well.
Yeah, your wife's going to leave you. No, your wife's going to leave you. Bosh. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, Drew says Punk's wife's going to leave him, sets up a second table on the outside. The ref checks on Punk, but thank God, like I said, we're beyond the days where it hold everything. We got to stop this blood. Punk hits a corner knee, but can't capitalize. Drew dumps him on the top rope. Punk manages to deliver a double axe handle from the top. Tries again with the wrench, but Drew catches him. Beautiful belly-to-belly suplex. Punk rolls out of the ring while Drew is charging up the Claymore. Then Punk hits Drew right in the head with that really heavy looking toolbox, and Drew bleeds. And when I say he bleeds, he fucking bleeds. Hard way. He is pissing blood. Holy shit.
Oil and it just cascading down his face.
Yeah, 16 staples, I hear. And well, I mean, we've seen the picture on social media now. Like, fucking ouch. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of ketchup. Let's just hope it's the new limited edition Heinz pickle flavored ketchup, available now. A few more headshots with the toolbox to Drew, including one off the top rope. Punk follows it up with a double corner knee and bulldog. Signals for the GTS, hits the GTS, but Drew rolls out the ring so he can't be pinned. Drew whispers a great knock-knock joke he heard earlier in the day, and Punk is laughing, but the time for laughing is over as Drew hits the Claymore inside the ring. Only gets a 2. Drew goes for a third Claymore, but Punk avoids it and struggles to apply a sharpshooter, but does get it. McIntyre uses the wrench to get out of it. The ref, Sean Bennett, does use a towel to wipe up some of the blood, to huge boos from the crowd.
Can I just say, I was really worried at this point because that sharpshooter looked like shit. When he was putting it on, it looked like it was a complete mess of a
He's lost a lot of blood, Stuart. What do you want the guy to do?
No.
It did, but at the same time, it kind of made sense because he was battered, he was bleeding,
Yeah.
and Drew's a huge dude. He's almost twice as big as Punk.
I
So
wouldn't be
even
able
though,
to lift either of Drew's legs like anywhere,
oh no, not even close.
and certainly not,
Basically,
not
I
for
But
very long.
the mark. Then I fell for it. Like,
Yeah, it was. I mean, he was struggling, but in the context of the match and what had happened, it was perfect.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it made sense to struggle with that.
The crowd were
When he
into
finally-
every single
finally
second of
locked
this
in.
match. Go on, Stu.
yeah. When he finally locked it in. Sorry, when he finally locked it in, I was like, okay, right, this is perfect now.
Yeah,
And Adriana, I'm glad you continued to watch even after that blood was mopped away. Good. I'm glad you didn't immediately. You're like, what? No, off. I'm going outside.
God, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I have to turn this off, but then like I was like, no, I gotta keep watching. It was actually really conflicting because I was like, this is what I wanted, but then I had it. I was like, I don't know what to do with it.
Bullshit. Yeah, the wrestlers trade right hands to boos and yays. Drew goes for the future shock but can't get it. Chops and then a roundhouse from Punk and they're both down. Punk hits a fourth knee in the corner and tries to suplex Drew. But Drew overpowers Punk and suplexes him off the apron through the table. Not, the table's in the vertical position, not the horizontal position. It looked great. Table's absolutely obliterated. And at that point, I just realised Drew's doing this match with a huge hole in the top of his head. That's where your brain is. Jesus.
What's left of it?
I mean, newsflash wrestlers are crazy, but that's why we love them. So thank you guys. I mean, I'm not. If I've got a hole in my head like that, I'm not doing anything.
No, I would be 100% David Arquette in that moment. Of like, get me out of this ring.
Having a lie down. McIntyre gets the extremely heavy-looking lower half of the steps into the ring eventually. Let's hope he doesn't regret this later on. Second GTS, but Drew kicks out. Drew hits the white noise on the steps, but it doesn't get the job done. Punk locks in the Anaconda Vice, and Drew gets the wrench to strike Punk and escape, but Punk gets the wrench, slams it repeatedly into the head of McIntyre. Drew begs off. Punk hesitates, and it costs him. Low blow. Shades of Brad Maddox in Punk versus Ryback in 2012.
What a callback.
I know, right? It just wasn't from the ref this time.
that's impressive.
That was random as fuck. I mean, we got an explanation, but at the time I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, Drew empties a bag onto Punk's head. Tax? Real glass? No. Beads! Friendship
Perfect.
bracelet beads. Stuff some in
just
Punk's...
just going back to the Brad Maddox thing. That's the only thing so far that this match was missing. If we could have had a call back to the Ryback table spot where Drew picks up Punk, goes for the table and misses completely, that would have made that
just
match perfect.
dumps him on his bum on the outside. No, I agree, Stuart. There was not enough Ryback in this match.
I never thought I'd say that. In
No one's ever said it.
Not enough Ryback.
Just like the new belt reveal, history-making moment on this podcast right now.
Whoa.
But yeah, he stuffs the friendship bracelet beads into Punk's mouth, just punches him, and Punk spits them up into the air. It looked great. And Drew goes for the Claymore, but Punk moves, and Drew takes this nasty-looking bump on his lower back onto the corner of the steps. I mean...
I felt that.
Yeah, I think we all felt that. And he's got a hole in his head. Christ. Punk wraps a chain around his knee, returns the favor by shoving the beads down Drew's throat, hits a chain-assisted GTS for the win. Everyone, I think we've all got a little bit sick of the friendship bracelet, but this was a great kind of ending chapter to all that. It was a lovely callback. I loved it so much. Yeah, I remember, Adriana, you tweeted when it first started. You tweeted they're both fighting over a bracelet. What are they, like 12? And I was like, that sums it up exactly. But it all came around in the end. Bjorn, thoughts?
Sorry.
Man, I loved this match. I went into it with very low expectations because I didn't love their first two matches. That they were fine, but you kind of got the feeling that this wasn't the best they could do. And even when the match started, and this is just totally picking nits, when Punk sold hitting his back off the cage like he'd been shot by a sniper, I thought, oh no. Because, I mean, if you ever got into a schoolyard fight as a kid, you got tossed into a chain link fence, and it doesn't hurt. Like it might scrape, but it doesn't hurt. And then Drew took a bump into the cage, and he sold it like death. And I thought, great. It's going to be another PG cell match that I'm not going to remember even before it's over. And I could not have been happier to be more wrong. It stayed inside the cell, which was amazing, because that never happens. People are on the roof, they take the bump off the side into the table and the whatever, but they kept it inside the cell, and the pacing was great.
Yeah.
Even the nasty bump that Drew took off the stairs on his back was super, super safe. You can tell that he landed more on his shoulder, but sold it like he just annihilated his lower back.
Let's hope so.
It was so great. This, I mean, there's only a handful of cell matches that I can remember because they were great. Obviously, the first one was Shawn and Taker and Kane's debut, legendary, probably the best cell match that there's going to be, bell to bell. Mankind and The Undertaker, obviously. And the only other one that really sticks out in my head is the one from Armageddon where Rikishi took the bump into the
bale of hay.
Very soft, the bale of hay. And the rest of them have really been kind of nondescript until this one, because it was an actual cell match. It wasn't just like a Raw or SmackDown match inside the cell. This was two guys who are capable of having great matches. That this was probably one of the best Drew matches I've ever seen, and I liked Drew a lot.
He's been great since his return. Like I was working at a WCPW show during his indie time, and like I couldn't believe how amazing the match was. And I've told this story on the stream before, but I was he came out of the shower and we're in this super tight corridor, so I'm super close to him and he's just in his pants. I was like, oh god. And he was like, I'm Drew, by the way. I'm like, I know, I loved your match, bye. But honestly, I was like, holy shit, the last time I saw this guy, he was in the 3-man band, and look at his work now. It was incredible stuff. Stuart?
Yeah, the 3-man band, he was taking bumps off Hurricane Ranas from El Torito. That was one of the last wrestling shows I actually went to.
You're right, Stuart, he can do it all.
He can do it all. No, I think that's a really good point, what Bjorn said about the cell match being contained within the cell. One thing that I found it was reminiscent of was the Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar Hell in a Cell match from No Mercy 2002.
Sure. Which
is one of my favourite Hell in a Cell matches, because that was 100% brutality in the ring. So yeah, thank you for unlocking that memory for me. That was brilliant.
That's got the great sort of tombstone counter where he just throws him up and catches him in the F5.
The good tombstone counter, and the bit where he pulls Paul Heyman's tie through the cell and then like pulls it through, and then Paul Heyman gets colour. Brilliant. Like the whole match from start to finish. One thing I will say, I know it's been very polarising from what I've seen online, is who should have won. Like a lot of people saying that Drew should have won, a lot of people saying that the right person won. Personally, I think the right person won. I think CM Punk was the right winner for that match, but I'd love to hear your opinion on it.
Well, I think so too, because he's the babyface in this feud, and it was kind of like a happy ending, the bloodiest happy ending I've ever seen to the feud, right?
It's a perfect example as well of wins and losses do matter, but in the long run, like when you look at this whole feud from start to finish, I do agree that first match at SummerSlam, bit of a disappointment, ended via bracelet distraction. The second match, I was actually a big fan of the second match. It was mainly Punk getting his win back to set up what this was at Bad Blood.
For me, it's just the limitations of a strap match where you've got to touch all four corners.
You know what? As the strap match is, it was as good as it could possibly be.
Sure.
But really, really good. It's both of them have come out bigger and better for this feud than when they walked in. Like, it's definitely one of Drew's best matches. It's definitely Drew's, I don't think I'm wrong in saying this, but Drew's best feud in WWE.
Feud's been great. Even when Punk wasn't wrestling, the feud's been great.
Oh yeah, it
For
didn't,
sure.
yeah,
So
yeah.
a few lows, like I said, maybe too much bracelet, but again, I love the payoff. Love the payoff.
Yeah,
Adriana,
when you got I popped for the beats. I popped for the beats. When the beats come out, I
Me
was
too.
like,
now when it's thumbtacks coming out of a bag, I'm going to be disappointed when it isn't beads. Not the beads. Where are the beads?
And I think when it got the bag out, it was the traumatized WWE fan in me. I was like, how are they going to do tags? Because they always do tags. And then when he opened it up and it was beads, I was just like you, Stuart. I popped. I was like, beads.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a Jack Perry reference. I thought they were going to bust out the glass, but when it was beads, it was not.
Watch Jack Perry do a beads reference now. Adriana, any other thoughts before we move on?
Well, these are my two favorite male wrestlers in WWE right now. So of course I had high expectations and they somehow exceeded it. I really don't know how they did that. I just thought it was really, really more violent than what I think WWE usually does. To me, it just felt really violent, really raw. I'm glad Punk got to kind of beat the washed allegations because I was kind of worried for him going in. I was like, how is he gonna perform in this? But he put it out on the line. I'm not gonna lie, he did good. So I was happy for that. And yeah, I think both men look bigger coming out of this. I don't think it hurts Drew at all. I think he'll be fine. I think Punk's gonna take the month off, avoid doing the Crown Jewel show. Yeah. Get some rest, so that'll be good.
That's why
I really like it.
That's why he's going away for a little bit, just to
not do it.
He's not actually injured, is he? Because a lot of people are kind of waiting for him to get injured.
It's really fucking morbid, really, isn't it? Really morbid, fucking. Sorry for swearing so much, but
you can swear on this podcast, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I don't understand that logic in people like you say, waiting for him to be injured, saying that he's washed. Ryback still found something to bitch about online afterwards, but that is Ryback.
Well, yeah. So
Ryback now.
he certainly isn't washed. And I tell you who else who hasn't washed, apparently, Chelsea Green. But we'll come on to that a little bit later on. But I think a lot of the other discussion has been about the placement of this match, because after this match, the rest of the pay-per-view, or PLE, couldn't really carry on that momentum. But I guess the Hell in a Cell was the opener because of the fact that Rock came out at the end to sort of wave and then go into the back. I would imagine that they thought that would have been the better way to end the show, but there really wasn't many places the show could have gone after this Cell match.
Hindsight's 2020. I think on the face of it, when it happened, I was like, I can totally understand Roman Reigns' last match being on last, or first match back since WrestleMania being on last. Obviously, if you're not on last, you want to be on first, and you want to tell people to go follow that. Unfortunately, it was so good. Every other match on that card was in the unenviable position of following that. So it was what it was. But...
For sure. But yeah, great stuff, and maybe a little bit of a like you said, Stuart, with that brutal cage match that we've just seen in AEW. Maybe a response from WWE saying we can actually do that kind of thing over here nowadays. Look at Drew's head. You see, and he's like, get off! I need to go to the hospital. But yeah, up next.
Just kind of like to what Adriana said. It was really brutal, and I think part of it is because the product has been PG for so long. It's so much more brutal because really, and it was wild, so good.
I think as well, if you're a fan who's just been watching nothing but WWE over the past 5-10 years, it's just going to be even more shocking. Bjorn, I think you may have frozen on your end. Maybe try.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, you're back. You just look very surprised for a long time there. So we've got Jacqueline, Lillian Garcia, and Booker T in the crowd. And then we cut to the VIP section, but Kathy Kelly is interviewing the host. I mean, shouldn't the hosts be hosting? I don't know. It's weird. Hey, the three girls got a payday, so I'm very happy for them. But I don't understand hosts of wrestling shows. Maybe
the
one day I'll be proven
It's the
wrong.
closest thing that we got to diversity on this show.
Well, listen, Triple H, he doesn't see color. He doesn't see color. He does not see it.
Yeah. Do you know what Triple H needs? A fucking PR team. He needs...
Adriana, you said something like that as well. Maybe you shouldn't be doing them.
Yeah, he's not really good at these because he's like zero for like a good answer when he's like hit like with like the hard questions. Like just stay back. No, you don't have to be out. Like I thought you were shy. I thought you didn't like the spotlight.
I don't really want to be on these shows, but I'm gonna come out for another 30 minutes to announce this new belt. Yeah, Bjorn, maybe try and disconnect and reconnect.
Oh, sure, no problem.
I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, because then that happens. There we go, man. Nice. Right. So up next, we got Bayley versus Nia Jax. I mean, kind of a good placement for this match because what's going to follow Punk and Drew in the cell. So, but unfortunately, like I haven't seen a lot of Nia in her current run, which everyone has said, she's improved a lot. This match wasn't that great, but we'll get into it right here. Nia gets control quickly, dominates Bayley, squishes in the corner, body avalanches, and a great looking clothesline. Bayley gets Bayley gets out of the bear hug with a sunset flip, but Nia puts her in a modified single crab, maintains control. Bayley fights out of a version of the camel clutch, sends Nia outside, drops the leg on the back of Jax's neck as she tries to get back in the ring. A baseball slide keeps Nia outside a little longer, and Bayley only gets a 2 inside the ring. Neck breaker on the middle rope. Bayley hits a suicide dive through the ropes. Looked like Nia reversed it, but kind of not really. That was the first kind of iffy spot in this match. Nia regains control in the corner. Jax signals for the Annihilator, which is a great name, by the way. But Bayley looks for the powerbomb counter that she hit at SummerSlam. Again, the first time I saw that, I kind of went, holy shit. And I said it again because Bayley just sort of carrying Nia out of the corner and walking even one step would be impressive, but man, I mean, it's just ridiculous strength. But Nia kind of turns it into a Hurricane Rana, and it's just a little bit messy, a little bit of a awkward delayed flip cell from Bayley. But I've seen far worse. It wasn't like that bad, and I think they got a bit of shit for that. Bayley to belly from Nia only gets a 2. Nia hangs up Bayley in the corner, drags her down but misses a hip attack. The crowd chant for Tiffy. Bayley acknowledges it and hits a corner knee followed by a sunset flip power bomb into the corner. A succession of elbow drops to Nia from Bayley, goes up, delivers a big elbow, and then both wrestlers are on the outside and Nia charges into the steps. Bayley moves and Bayley hits another big elbow off the steel steps. Nia power bombs Bayley into the steps, then swings her into the barricade, and Bayley looks done for as Nia toys with her in the ring. Nia hits a Samoan drop, kind of messy again. The announcers didn't know who actually hit the offensive maneuver there, but then it's Bayley's turn and she hits a great Samoan drop on Jax. Again, just ridiculous strength from Bayley because she gets her up for the drop, holds her for a bit, slams her down. Amazing stuff. She covers, but Nia powers out. Nia takes a kick to the head, and then she squishes Jessica Carr, the referee. Oh my gosh, I thought she'd be completely flat like one of them old cartoons, but Bayley hits a stunner and a rose plant, but there's no ref. And then yes, it is Tiffy time. And Tiffany runs out with the briefcase and takes out Bayley with it, but does not cash in as Nia does the Undertaker sit-up and spies Tiffany and Jessica Carr holding the briefcase. Bayley drives Nia into Tiffany in the corner, rolls her up but can't get it done. Bayley goes up top and Tiffy throws the case at Bayley, who catches it and just yeets it straight back into her face. It was nice because if I'm up on the top rope, I'm going to drop anything that someone throws at me, and I'm going to ruin the whole show. Not Bayley, though. The distraction pays off, though, as Nia hits an avalanche Samoan drop, then absolutely squishes Bayley with the Annihilator for the 1, 2, 3. Adriana, thoughts on this match?
They definitely tried their best. I really give them props for trying new things and trying to, like, up their SummerSlam match. I think it was SummerSlam that they had, which I didn't really like, and I didn't really like this one either. No, it was fine.
You were still thinking about Punk and Drew bleeding at this point,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, for the first 5 minutes of this, I was not watching it. I was still trying to recover, but
Just unconscious.
literally, I was like, I don't know how they expect me to do anything else after that. But yeah, this was okay. It wasn't awful. It just wasn't good. But
Yeah.
like, it wasn't bad. It's just they were trying a lot of new things that didn't really work and looked awkward. And like commentators pointing it out a lot. They were just confused. And I was like, I'm confused too. I don't know what's happening.
They asked for a replay of the botched Hurricane Rana, which I thought was an interesting choice for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think whatever match was after the Cell match was kind of going to be forgotten anyway. So this match may as well have gone there. Stuart, any thoughts?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Okay, is Bailey overrated? I know.
Right, podcast is over. I'm sorry, Stuart. This is strike 1, 2, and 3, all in the same
In the lead
go.
up to the Royal Rumble, I was 100%. Bailey has to win. Bailey has to go to WrestleMania. Bailey has to win that title. I know it's not 100% her fault, but her title reign was a little flat. And Nia Jax, I know you said you haven't watched many of Nia Jax's matches since she's been back. Nia Jax has been on fire.
That's what I've heard. That's what everyone's saying.
I was the first person to say Nia Jax needs to leave. She's dangerous. She's hurting people. And now I just can't get enough. I can't get enough Nia Jax. Like her finishing move looks devastating. Her attitude, her promos are fantastic. We're building up to this Tiffany Stratton cashing in.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't happen tonight because I feel like Tiffy being built up as this babyface can run for a couple more months.
Yeah, build it up a bit longer.
No, it like Adriana said, it was what it was. Like this match had to follow what it followed. It was never going to be an easy job. The match was fine. There was a few botches, but it's live. It's live, pal. Like
sure is. I mean, I'll always love Bailey for her first run, especially like in NXT. And I think she'll get it back. I mean, I would love to see a stronger title reign for her as well. Anyway, Bjorn, thoughts? Hello, Bjorn.
Are you still there?
We're still here. We can't hear you very well. It feels like we're doing a satellite call in the 80s. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, you're moving around again now. Sweet.
Okay. I want to like Nia Jax. Like, I think she has an awesome look. I think she's got awesome power moves.
Not like most girls.
But it feels, she's not. Which is cool. Because she definitely stands out. When you see her, she passes that whoa test. Like
the airport test.
Somebody that you want to watch. And then the bell rings, and it feels like a lot of times she's in her own head with a bigger match, that like she's thinking through what the next spot is, and almost like she's aware of that reputation that she's going to hurt someone, so she's trying not to hurt someone. But she has gotten a lot better from her last run. I think this match being in the death spot and then having a couple of those, spots that didn't go exactly the way they wanted. And with this one, I went back and watched it, not watching the Punk Drew match first to see if maybe I was down on it because of how great the other match was. And it was okay. It was fine. It wasn't as bad as everyone says.
Far from the worst match. Like so far away from that. Like it was a solid match, a few messy bits, and that's fine. That's fine.
You are right though. You are right. That Hurricane Rana was a big mistake. Whatever agent said that you could do that.
It happens. It was a delayed sell from Bailey, and again, I've seen far worse looking spots that far worse, and especially on the rewatch today, it wasn't that bad, really.
And it could be
dropping his head.
And it could be that they just don't have the greatest in-ring chemistry. There are some people that they're just oil and water. They just, no matter how many times they wrestle, they won't have a great match because they're, styles don't match or whatever. And maybe that's just what it is for them. They'll have
Sure.
a fine match.
Sure. Well, indeed. Now, moving on, X-Pac, Tully Blanchard from the Pinnacle, and Arn Anderson are at ringside as we move into Priest versus Balor. But before we get there, Michael Cole's favourite artists, right? Quavo and Lil Baby are ringside, and Michael Cole is just going mad for these artists that he definitely listens to. Like he 100% he listens to them, and Metro Boomin's there, of course, providing the theme GTA to the show. Priest gets control early, brushing off Finn's chop and powering down to the mat. A couple of hope spots for Finn as they go outside, and Damien charges at Balor, only to eat a sling blade. Back inside, and Finn appears to be in control with some angry stomps, but Priest is back on his feet, and Finn looks like he's seen a ghost. Spooky, well, it is the season, right? Priest catches Finn flying off the top rope with a great forearm to the face, and that was a great forearm. Looked great, sounded great. Balor gets control back with a side Russian leg sweep and locks in an abdominal stretch, but the monster Priest throws Balor like a sack of shit and hits some mean strikes. Finn tried a final cut, but Priest gets the broken arrow for a 2 count. Damien misses a clothesline, takes a second sling blade. Balor signals for the corner drop kick, but Priest gets a couple of kicks and a huge clothesline. Finn escapes a powerbomb attempt. They trade kicks and they're both down. Damien hits the first of 2 Razor's Edges, gets only a 2 count. Both wrestlers are outside and Damien pushes Finn, he just pushes him, and Finn goes flying over that table. It was great. He then takes a second Razor's Edge onto the ring apron, and then Carlito and JD cause a distraction which allows Finn to hit the corner drop kick, followed by a coup de grace, but he can't put Priest away. Balor charges at Damien with a chair, but Priest kicks it into his face. Damien takes care of the Judgment Day. South of Heaven countered into a roll-up for a 2. Balor hits the final cut, hits two coup de graces to a standing Priest. Goes for that third, but Priest catches him and wins with the South of Heaven. Stuart, we'll go to you first for this one.
Yeah, I think, just going back, I think Gen Z Michael Cole might be my least favourite Michael Cole gimmick.
Gen Z Michael Cole or heel Michael Cole? You've got to pick one of them.
Oh, heel Michael Cole with the tattoo in the tits, yeah.
Coming out of the ring with a little baby.
The box, yeah, that's top tier Michael Cole.
My God.
Yeah, you know what? All credit to the crowd, because, again, I was exhausted still from that Drew Punk match. By the time this match rolled around, I was still exhausted, but the crowd seemed to be still pretty hot on it. I think this might be the first time I've said it on this show that I don't actually think that the right person won this match. I think that the feud between Priest and Finn can run and run and run. Priest is phenomenal in ring. He keeps on defying age, defying critics, everything like that. But I just feel like Finn probably should have won this match, and this should have been a big night for the Judgment Day, because since the Judgment Day broke up, they've kind of lost their edge a little bit. And I think like a night.
Well, they
like
lost
this,
edge a couple of years ago, actually, Stuart.
Oh, thank you.
I have 1 or 2 of those quick moments a year, and that was your last one for 2024.
Yeah, but solid match, good match all round. I think.
Adriana, any thoughts?
I actually, the first time I watched it, I didn't remember a thing that happened. Maybe I was still on Dream Punk, but I don't know. I thought it was like a Raw match. I was like, why is this on Bad Blood? The thing is, Damien winning, I was kind of confused. I was kind of expecting Finn to win. I thought they would do like a trilogy or do a stipulation match later, which it could still happen.
Yeah. But
I was just, this does not feel very Bad Blood. Especially with the Judgment Day interference, it felt very this is just another episode of Raw. It's just another match on Raw.
It's it built nicely to the end, and the crowd were getting into it really, like you said, Stuart, a great crowd all night long. They were never dead, for sure. But yeah, the ending of this match was quite exciting, and there was some near falls and stuff. But yeah, well, now that Raw's only 2 hours, they've got to put some of those matches on the PLEs, right?
For the time being, I reckon once they go to Netflix, we're going to get 4 5-hour Raw.
Don't will that into existence, Stuart. Come on, man. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, although Adriana, I've got to believe that even when this Priest and Finn match is going on, you were rewatching Punk and Drew on a second screen, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
Possibly.
Maybe.
Bjorn, thoughts?
I really liked this match. Kind of like both of you, I was exhausted from the first match, but this one kind of got me back into it. I also really like Damian Priest, and my man crush on Finn Balor knows no bounds. So I was all in on this match.
I was reminded of my man crush for him during this match as well.
Yeah, I think that Balor is underused. I think he could be pushed up higher up the card, and I feel like he should be, especially after his second run in NXT.
Yeah.
I really liked Damian Priest. I didn't like him so much as the World Heavyweight Champion, but you can see that like he got some of those reps being in the main event, the main event scene, and that he can hang with those kind of guys now. The only thing I have a hard time with Priest is that because he's such a nice guy, like he's a shoot baby face.
Yeah.
It's hard to see him as kind of like not a tough guy necessarily, but a bad guy, because I want to like him so much, almost on that like Cody Rhodes level. And the only other thing that I can think of is that JD McDonough looks so much like Peter Dinklage that it's distracting to me.
Oh
I see is Terry Bannister fly off the top turnbuckle. I'm completely taken out of it. Every time on my screen, I'm like, Peter Dinklage's kid.
Well, listen, Game of Thrones has been off the air for a while now, so you might as well have the odd callback just to remind everybody about that show. But yeah, I mean, I think Priest has really got that star presence. Like, he looks great, and and the crowd are with him. And I think when he comes back to another title reign, I think it'll be a lot stronger than the first one.
I think that might be. I think that might be why I wasn't like massively invested in the finish of it, because they are really booking Priest to look bulletproof. Like, he looks so strong. He won against all the odds, all the interference. I just feel like with everything that happened in the last bit of that match, it was a very impressive end to that match, very good ending, but I don't feel like the loss would have hurt him that much. And I feel like you said, Finn probably would have benefited a lot more from that win. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in the future? I think the feud could run, but with a Priest win, it kind of just killed it in the water for me a little bit.
Yeah, well, maybe the feud will continue. I'm sure it will, actually. But yeah, I think I agree. I think the wrong person did win this time, but both guys are great, and it was enjoyable for what it was once again. So yeah, moving on. A Survivor Series promo. We get one for every single show for the rest of the year and next year. Got a little add today.
Is this Survivor Series coming up, or is this Survivor Series next year?
Who even knows, Stuart? Maybe both. But then we get terribly shy Triple H. Oh, who, me? Go out there in front of the camera? Oh, all right then, if you insist. But yeah, Paul comes out to announce effectively another belt, the biggest belt anyone's ever seen, because Crown Jewel demand like a huge historic record-breaking event at their shows, and we got to see the Crown Jewel Championship, 50 carats of diamonds, and for a wrestler of like Finn's size, it's going to cover his whole chest and maybe like half of his face. That's not a shot at Finn. That's just how big this belt is. 50 carats of diamonds.
Packet, though, is it?
Say again, Stuart.
It's not going to cover his packet, though, is it?
What could? But so each year at Crown Jewel, the undisputed WWE champ and the World Championship will, both the men and the women, will face off to get their giant belts, and I'm sure they'll just kind of hold it up at Crown Jewel, and then we'll never see it again, like the Andre the Giant Battle Royale trophy and stuff like that. But never mind Metro Boomin. The segment was Metro boring, but luckily Gunther to the rescue, who calls out Goldberg, who's sitting at ringside with his son Gage. Tells him he lied to Bret Hart that Goldberg was his favorite wrestler. Said that a one-trick pony like Goldberg could never be his favorite wrestler. Actually, Gunther, he's a two-trick pony. He's got the jackhammer and the spear, and says he hopes Goldberg is a better father than he is a professional wrestler. But it's okay, because Sami Zayn valiantly comes to Goldberg's defense. Goldberg didn't need to do any fighting because Sami Zayn rescued him there. But yeah, and also Gunther and Sami and Goldberg rescued that segment because these shows. Well, this one started a little earlier, but these shows are quite late at night in England. And when Triple H was just going on and on, I was like, Jesus Christ, let's get on with this dude. But yeah, so another belt, two more belts. Hooray. Anyway, moving on to Rhea versus Liv with Dom in the shark cage. And I'm very, very happy anytime Dom is on screen.
Are we glossing over Goldberg? We can't gloss over Goldberg.
I just spoke about Goldberg. Stuart, are you paying attention?
I cannot describe how hyped I was for Goldberg, and I just can't. I'm disappointed in myself because I know a lot of people. Goldberg's a very polarizing figure. He hasn't had a good match, possibly ever.
Whoa! Goldberg Lesnar, Survivor Series, whatever year that was a lot of fun. Yeah, we've got a wow in the chat from Tab Stuart.
He's got some moments in him, and then when I saw the build up, I'm gonna say it. I want Goldberg versus Gunther. Give it to me in Saudi. Give it to me at SummerSlam.
Oh, it will be in Saudi. Don't you worry about that, Stuart.
I just want it.
You're gonna get it. I mean,
hook it to my veins.
I'd like a little segment with Bret and Goldberg. Probably not a match, but maybe like a segment with them would be quite nice. But yeah, does anyone else want to fanboy or fangirl about Goldberg before we move on?
I don't care about Goldberg.
I can go again.
Stuart, you've got more, have you? Well, listen.
Fucking amazing. Loved it.
10 out of 10. Best thing on the show.
10 out of 10, yeah.
Right, well, moving on with Stuart's... Bill's permission. Stuart's permission. Yeah, sorry, Bjorn, go.
No, it's okay. When I just hear like no, let's
Bjorn, has Goldberg delivered a jackhammer to your modem?
Bret Hart might be involved. Yeah.
Highly possible. Anything can happen here in the... Yeah.
Okay, listen, we'll move on.
His son does go to University of Colorado, so it is conceivable.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Anyway, yes, Rhea versus Liv with Dom in the shark cage. Dom and Liv come out in a lowrider. This isn't news, but Dom's mullet is glorious. Dom gets locked in the cage, and it's raised, and Corey Graves says, "This is cruel and unusual." Which was funny. Unusual in real life, sure. In the wrestling business, come on now. Rhea kicks things off, throwing Liv around the ring and battering her down to the ground. Morgan takes a fall-away slam and retreats to the outside. Out of desperation, she shoves Rhea into the steps, but Rhea is right back with an electric chair drop on the apron. Rhea dominates on the outside to Mammy chants, but Liv targets the injured knee, and they're back in the ring, and Morgan's able to keep Ripley down by focusing on that knee. She locks in the half crab on Rhea, but then Ripley gets back control with a series of clotheslines as Dom looks petrified in the cage. Just seeing his face, that's enough for me. He's my Goldberg, Stuart. Honestly, Dom needs to put a mullet wig on Goldberg, and then the universe will be complete.
What we can do, tie both things together: a mullet versus mullet match, Gage Goldberg versus Dom.
Absolutely, you got to believe they're cooking something up with Gage. We've seen him a few times now, and Adriana, did you tweet that his son is all of a sudden just a grown man?
Just a grown man. Like, he was just a little kid with his shirt off in the ring. I don't know who this, like, adult with a mortgage is.
A grown man ready to bleed.
Honestly, get him in the ring. I want to see what happens. Put him in NXT.
Yeah, where does the time go? Yeah, because he was like, your son's a little boy, isn't he? Go, well, who's this man? Well, it's Gage. But yeah, Rhea gets slammed in the barricade multiple times, and then Liv hits a sunset flip bomb off the apron, and Rhea's head just slams into that barricade. It looked fucking painful. Back in the ring, Liv hits a code breaker off the second rope after telling Rhea to suck it, but it can't secure the win. Liv goes for a tornado DDT, doesn't get it. Goes for the Oblivion, doesn't get it as Rhea flips out of it. Looked great. Ripley hits a big knee to the face, tries the Riptide, but Liv gets out of it and hits the Home Wrecker, which looked amazing. Kind of like a abdominal flippy slam thing. That's why I'm not in charge of naming the moves. But yeah, it looked amazing. Liv does the Eddie shimmy, goes for the three amigos, but gets cut off before number 3. Rhea hits the release Razor's Edge. Dom has somehow opened the cage. He somehow opened the cage door. He's a glorious mullet, big fan of tendies, and the master of unlocking. Ridiculous. But Rhea hits Guerrero for Frog Splash, gets a 2. Ripley locks in the Prism Lock, but Liv gets to the ropes. Liv and Rhea batter each other under the shark cage as Morgan gets thrown into the barriers. Ripley then hits the Riptide on the outside as a helpless Dom looks on. He then falls out of the cage. But not to his doom, and he's left hanging upside down. And I'm seriously, everything he does is 5 stars from me. And then we get a really weird moment. The only kind of major use of the ref cam on this show. Rhea then she goes to the ref. Hold on a sec, I've got some unfinished business. And Dan Engler goes, "You deserve it." And I'm like, what is this conversation? And then Rhea says, "I'll be back in a minute." And the ref goes, "Okay." I mean, just
some AEW referee in there.
Sometimes there's no count outs, and they just shouldn't have. No one would have noticed if a count out wasn't happening. That conversation was really funny, especially the second time I watched it today. I mean, great stuff. Great use of the ref cam. But Ripley then beats the possibly padded but definitely dangling Dom with a kendo stick. And then Raquel Rodriguez appears out of nowhere, attacks Rhea, and I've written here DQ finish, lol. Raquel then puts Liv on top of Rhea, even though the bell's already rung. And she's like, oh, never mind about that. Get you off of that. And that was the end. Bjorn, thoughts?
Man, I really liked this match until the sad trombone moment of the ending. I thought everything was perfect until just that last little bit there. This was maybe one of the best matches I've seen Liv have, which is awesome because I've seen clips of her online, like in training, and she can do a lot more than she's shown in the ring. Mm-hmm. Like she's someone, like, she can hang with Rhea and make the match look believable. And this is one of the first times that maybe we kind of got that. Maybe SummerSlam, but this one for sure, where she looked really comfortable working with Rhea and vice versa.
Yeah.
And I love Dom. Anything that Dom does, I'm in. All in.
Well, there was a callback to his time in prison.
Son. Yeah.
And that was my favorite stuff that he's done. It was like, I was in prison, and if you spoke to me like that in prison, you'd have got. It's just comedy, like actual comedy gold. Him being in prison for what, like 5 minutes? So funny.
Yeah. Every time I see him, I'm like, this guy gets it. He understands wrestling. He really is Eddie Guerrero's son.
I know, right? I love the way they're just telling us that. You know, not so subtly with the mullet and the lowrider. I mean, poor Ray. Your father's still alive, right, Dom? How could you? But yeah, I agree. Those two ladies have amazing heat together, and it was just a bit of the finish was kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was happy to see Raquel come back. Happy to see her healthy. If they let her lean into almost the Rhea light that she was in NXT, it could be awesome. Because the two of them can really work well together, or like some kind of a triple threat or something, or a handicap match, her and Liv versus Rhea. I'm here for all of it.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Adriana, what did you think?
I really don't have anything positive to say about it. I'm sorry. I think these two could have a great match together. I just don't think they've had the opportunity. Nothing worked for me. The ending sucked. I don't know who produced it or who thought of it, but it was never going to work out. It's just, I don't know how they're going to do it. The only good thing was Dom, which is not great because I feel like he's been so much the focus of this feud that it's like, okay, I feel like Liv and Rhea just haven't had like the chance to like explore their relationship and their history. So, and like this match, it's like centered around Dom, and like Rhea like took time out to go hit him with some stick like a piñata during Hispanic Heritage Month. It's crazy. But yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't think about the fact that it was Hispanic Heritage Month. Because I think if there was anyone hanging upside down like that, WWE will call that person a human piñata. So I wasn't like, I don't think that was necessarily like race related. But now that you've told me that, oh my god.
It happened. I was watching it going, please don't make a piñata joke. Please don't make a piñata joke.
They can't help it, Stuart.
They didn't. And everything was fine. And then Triple H said it in the press conference afterwards.
He said
like, no!
Ooh, so, yeah. Adriana, go on.
But yeah, I don't know. But I guess Raquel coming back is cool. I'm not like the biggest fan of her. I think she's okay. She can be okay when she needs to be. I think Liv having some muscle is cool. I think like the trio of her, Dom, and Raquel looks sick. I think it'll be cool to see her like hopefully her and Rhea like separate for a bit because they've been so intertwined with each other for a while. It'd be cool to see like Rhea do her own thing, or like Liv have like a title reign that's actually good and decent because she has not had one. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm a little pessimistic about it just because I just haven't liked how they've handled the feud so far.
Yeah, maybe if they get a final match as like a proper blow off with like no interference, because like I said, I love Dom, but if your biggest focus in a match is Dom dangling upside down in a cage, and
they focus on Dom so much.
Some good spots though. And I think those guys, Rhea and Liv, could like have an absolute barn burner. But this wasn't the one. But I think we'll see it again, especially with that finish. Stuart, any closing thoughts, or are you dreaming about Goldberg?
Well, this is what I was going to say. Like, Nia Jax versus Bayley had to follow that Hell in a Cell match. This match had to follow Goldberg, and it was always going to be a disappointment. So, in all seriousness, like it was good. I think the botch finish obviously sort of tainted it a little bit, but again, just trying a bit of a positive spin on it. Like Bjorn said, like that match could be so much more, and they should have their chance. I think we all made this point. They should have their chance to have just a match together without Dom being the focal point. So that botched ending with Rhea Ripley technically getting the win by disqualification. Maybe we just get one last blow-off match before we eventually get Rhea moved on to maybe like a little feud with Raquel. I'm buzzing to see Raquel back. I've always been a fan of Raquel. I've always been very impressed with her work in ring. One thing I've always said that she was missing though is a little bit of an edge and a little bit of a character, because she was very much the smiley baby face and had nothing really about her. Whereas now she's come back, she's mean, she's tough, she's going after Rhea Ripley. I'm very excited to see what the future's going to hold. Raquel really sort of like, I always respect and always like Raquel, but when she worked that Elimination Chamber match with her skin condition, I was like, fair play. Like a lot of people would say, no, I'm not coming to work today. I'm not doing this. Like I thought she was going to go into that Elimination Chamber match, be eliminated almost immediately, and then that was going to be the last we saw of her. She ended up staying in that match for quite a long time. She got a couple. I think she got one, maybe two eliminations. Like she is tough, and I'm excited to see that match now.
It's like Cody when Cody had that pec injury, and it kind of made the match because you've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, Goldberg.
And back to Goldberg.
Yeah, Goldberg saved that segment. That belt was fucking hideous.
You could put your Goldberg DVD on after this podcast, Stuart. There's only one match left to go.
Which one?
Have I skipped over the segment with I have. Yeah. So just before that match, I just want to cover this very, very quickly. We cut back to the VIP box, and Kathy Kelly is talking to the hosts and Metro Boomin, who says that Cody is an Atlanta legend. And then Chelsea Green shows up, who, for some reason, she's been through hair and makeup, but she hasn't showered since her dumpster match. And this felt like a Vince McMahon segment to me. What the hell is that smell? This is what happened. Like, this is what John Moxley said on the Jericho podcast that time. If you show that you're funny, which Chelsea is really, really good at doing, they can pigeonhole you into that kind of role.
I feel like Chelsea Green might not mind that, though. I feel like she's
not.
Definitely one of this. Like, if you go into something game, if you go into something with 100% enthusiasm, like what Chelsea Green does, it's hard not to use her in that spot. Like, everyone looks back fondly on Santino Marella, not so much his sister Santina, but Santino Marella in his comedy work is legendary. So yeah, I'm just happy to see Chelsea Green on the show, despite it not making a lot of sense. But
Well, Christmas is coming up, like we've discussed, and I don't know about Chelsea, but I always get the double shower gel and deodorant combo from at least one relative. So maybe she's got one or multiple of those coming her way. So I'm sure she'll get that shower soon. Anyway, guys, on to the main event. It is Cody and Roman teaming for the first time versus Solo and Jacob. I'm just gonna. Sometimes he's just in my notes as Jacob, and when it's just Jacob, he just sounds like a lovely guy called Jacob. That's my friend Jacob. He's lovely. You'd love him. But yeah, a double band entrance for Cody and Roman. OTC chance for Roman. Cody and Jacob. It's Cody and Jacob, my neighbours. Have you not met them? Anyway, Cody and Jacob, Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu kick things off. Cody slides under Jacob's legs, hits the drop down Rhodes punch and the disaster kick, but to no effect on Fatu. Solo enters the ring, so Roman joins them. The four square off to huge OTC chants in general. Solo tags in, so does Roman, and after a lot of standing and staring, which the crowd did eat up, to be fair, they kick things off again. Roman dominates Solo for a while, but Solo jumps in from behind after his distraction from Fatu. You can't wrestle chance for Solo. I mean, he can. He's just not very exciting when he does it. And I know that's the heat, because it's like, this is the new tribal chief, and the heat is... Yeah, but he's not, though, is he? He's not.
They started you look at Kurt Angle, though, so what do they know?
That's true. Yes. Hip attack to Roman's face in the corner, and Solo tags in Fatu, who hits a hip attack of his own. Lots of barking about Solo being the actual tribal chief, and I mean, maybe if they say it enough times, people will believe it. Cody gets the tag and unloads on Jacob, hits the power slam, the bionic elbow, the Cody cutter, goes for the crossroads, but takes out an interfering Solo and walks into a pop-up Samoan drop by Fatu. I've loved that move for so many. There's some moves that I'll just never get tired of seeing, and that's one of them. Solo tags in and hits a Uranagi to Rhodes on the apron. The Bloodline cut off Cody for a long while, and get the heat on Rhodes. He's not able to tag in Roman. Cody finally goes for the tag, but Fatu pulls Reigns off the apron, and I didn't see Fatu at first. I thought Roman had turned on him just for a split second. I was like, no. But yeah, he was jacked off the ring apron, and it finally turns around when Fatu goes for the swanton, but Cody gets his knees up, tags in Roman, who then unloads on Sikoa. Solo goes for the spike, but Roman gets a crucifix pin for a 2, followed by a Superman punch for another 2. A fuck you Solo chant, thankfully not censored, because when they have to mute the crowd doing a rude chant, it's the worst. I get it, but also it sucks. Solo goes for the spear, but Roman goes for the spear on Solo. Fatu puts a stop to it. double super kick, moonsault from Jacob, splash from Solo, but Cody breaks up the pin. Fatu charges Cody on the outside, but he goes through the barrier, but he's immediately back up, just throwing chairs all over the place. Cody hits the crossroads on the outside, then salutes Roman, flies off the ring post with a splash, puts Fatu through the announce table to take him out. Roman and Solo trade right hands in the ring. Super kick from Sikoa, but Superman punch from Roman. Roman signals for the spear once again, but the Gorillas of Destiny appear to distract Reigns, who eats a spear from Solo, but Roman kicks out. A hooded figure appears behind the Tongans, takes them out. It's Jimmy Bloody Uso, everybody. Solo is processing all this, turns around. Roman hits the spear for the 1, 2, 3. Jimmy and Roman embrace for a huge pop. Adriana, what did you think of the match?
God, y'all are gonna go so negative, but I thought this was just fine. It was a typical Bloodline match where it's like 10 minutes of slow, and then like they like cut the ring in half, and then Cody was like just sitting on the floor. One time, he was just sitting on the floor looking at Roman with his hands out,
thinking about the blood from earlier.
Yeah,
he's like, dreaming.
But it was just, I don't. And then like the last 5 minutes, it picks up and it gets really exciting, like typical like Bloodline match. So that's what it was really. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. I thought it was at least like Roman looked cool coming back. It's nice to see him back.
Yeah.
And like him and Cody teaming up was pretty sick. But yeah, I just thought it was fine.
On the rewatch today, I didn't realize how long they got the heat on Cody. It was a long time. I was skipping through some of it. I'm like, no. So yeah, it was. That's been kind of the staple of Solo matches. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to be ready. I mean, I was going to say charisma wise. I mean, he's got the charisma. He's got his character. He's very talkative, which helps a lot. But I just don't think he's that as exciting as he needs to be. Let's say. Yeah. You know what I mean, Stuart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Adriana said. Like it was slow. It took a long time to get into the match. And I do understand that because that's the kind of Eddie Guerrero methodology of matches. When the crowd's been so exhausted throughout the evening, if you're in the main event, you slow it all the way down, then build them back up. And they did a great job of building it back up. But that first 10-15 minutes was a difficult watch, especially for us in the UK. I was exhausted by this point. I just couldn't wait for it to pick up and get going. But Jacob, young Jacob, his moonsault is a thing of beauty.
He's so great.
Yeah, that's another good point. I don't think it's definitely not an original point, but it's like Jacob Fatu is everything that WWE wanted Solo to be, but isn't. And that's why Solo's really suffering from the addition of Jacob Fatu at the minute. Them as a tag team, long term, could work. This match, I feel like they should have just called an audible at this point and said, you know what, let's forget the slow build up, bog standard Bloodline match that has gone on. Let's just make it a no disqualification, not falls count anywhere, but no disqualification, tornado tag rules, and just go straight for it right from the start. But it was what it was. Good build up. Good to see Jimmy back. Would have liked to have seen Paul Heyman back as well, but you know, this is what Triple H likes to do. He likes to drip feed these returns and these big moments. So it was enjoyable for what it was, and I'm sure we're going to get into the end part as well, which was what it was as well.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. I think the crowd were just happy to see Roman there. I think that was enough for them, and that's all they needed.
Ripped as well, didn't he? Yeah. Like he must have just been spending the last 6 months not wrestling, just doing crunches. Like he looked absolutely fucking shredded. But yeah, exciting to see him back.
Jacked and ripped, I noticed.
Yeah,
good for him. Bjorn.
All right. I gotta agree with Stuart and Adriana. It was fine. For me, the Bloodline is getting into like NWO territory, where there's a million people in the group. There's always going to be a run in. There's going to be some kind of distraction or DQ finish or whatever. So you know what you're going to get.
And it's Bloodline
But
versus Bloodline now as well. Don't forget, double Bloodline.
yeah, yeah. I
Bloodline,
mean, you know,
Bloodline
it's
Wolfpack, is it? Or...
it's the NWO Hollywood NWO 2000 feud that we never got.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm happy for that. But you know, I'm happy to see Cody involved in a program in a feud again, instead of just, well, we have a PLE, Cody's the champion, he's gonna have a good match with somebody else. Because I mean, those are great. I love Cody. I could not have been more wrong about him coming back to WWE. I hated Cody in AEW. He had, for me, every time he was on my screen, it was like, what else is on? I don't want to see or hear
It's
anything.
really interesting, isn't it? Because he's been the same guy, but when he was in AEW, I was always like, this guy is a secret bad guy. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like he was always going to turn, but he was always the same guy, but it just didn't work there, but works perfect in WWE. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. So and that's great. I mean, he, you know, fought from underneath, played Ricky Morton, whatever you want to call it, for days in that match, and was amazing at it. He's great. He's everything that they never thought he could be during his first run, and couldn't be happier for him, because by all accounts, he's a great dude. Signs every autograph, you know, kisses every baby, high fives every kid. He was made to be in this run. He was made to be the face of the company.
For
and
sure.
Made to be
he seems
champion.
like, it seems so obvious now, doesn't it, that it's happened? But I remember when he was leaving the first time, and he said in an interview somewhere, he said, "I think I can be the guy." And at the time, I was like, can you be the guy? But when he left, and straight away he's got that list of dream opponents on the indies, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe. And look at him now. You know, he's the perfect white meat baby face for WWE in 2024.
Yeah. So it was, you know, the match as a whole was fine. I do want to see more of Jacob and Cody, your neighbors who are baking bread to bring over to you. I do want to see the two of them in like an extended kind of singles feud. I know we have to get to the fireworks factory at Survivor Series first, but I would like to see Jacob Fatu and Cody have a feud, because I think they meshed really well together, and I think they could have some really good matchups together.
I think that'd be amazing. But yeah, after the match, the new bloodline jump Cody, while the old bloodline are walking away, and Roman kind of hesitates, but Jimmy convinces him to go back and come to Cody's aid. And then so the old bloodline beat up the new bloodline, and then the new bloodline, aka The Rock, comes out, counts 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of the show. And that's why I think that match went last, you know?
Yeah.
Would like to think not. I'd like to think that with or without The Rock, this was always meant to be on last. But yeah, you're probably right.
Either that or Punk's like, yo, I want to go first so I can get home showered and ready for the UFC show, because that's why the whole show was early, so it didn't clash with the UFC show that was on a little bit later.
I like The Rock coming back. I like the fact that The Rock is still final boss, heel Rock.
Yeah.
But to go back to what Bjorn said, like, it feels like I was always a big defender. A lot of people have been saying for quite a while now this Bloodline storyline's been going on and on for too long. But if the big payoff, if the last chapter of this Bloodline saga is Roman versus Rock at this year's WrestleMania, not the year after WrestleMania, then I'll be happy with that. Like, it needs to have a bow tied on it and just sort of like put in the vault for now, because it's been brilliant in places. It's had some real legendary moments, but it is going on. And it's hurting Cody. Like, just to go back to what you said as well, like Cody's title reign, a lot of people are sick of Cody's title reign. I like Cody as champion. Yeah, I really like Cody as champion. I think that, but he is missing that one defining title defense or defining feud. Because at the moment, he's almost a bit part player in somebody else's feud, and he needs to be like, maybe Kevin Owens can be that guy. Maybe Kevin Owens as a heel, Randy Orton. We need that Randy Orton Cody match at some point for that belt. So hopefully, this is now the start of pulling Cody away from the bloodline just for the moment. Just for the moment.
Well,
But
I think Stuart, you're in luck because after the show ended, outside the arena, Kevin Owens attacked Cody, and it was caught by fans on social media. And at first, I was like, "Why are you doing it like this?" But again, like I spoke about on stream this week, it's so that the heel turn isn't in the ring and people are cheering a Kevin Owens heel turn against Cody. It's kind of genius. It's kind of genius because they've been waiting for it. They would have cheered it, and now Kevin's already this heel, so they can just boo him, and it is quite smart. But yeah, Bjorn, any thoughts to close the show?
Just that, I mean, every champion needs that one, person on the other side of the ring that they click with. Brett and Shawn, Rock and Austin. I mean, some people would say Cena and Orton. I would not, because I never need to see that again. But you've got to find that person that you click with.
Gunther Goldberg's son.
Yeah. Cody and Goldberg's son. I like that. I can get behind that. And it seems like they're trying to find that for Cody. And I hope they find it soon, because I want to cheer Cody. I want to be as excited about him being the champion as I was for him chasing the championship. And hopefully they find it soon.
Yeah, for sure. Adriana, thoughts to close the show?
I think Drew versus Punk should have main evented. I don't really care about Dwayne coming back. Actually, I do care about Dwayne coming back. I think he's cool. I was just lying. I'm sorry. But yeah, Cody, I thought him winning the belt at Mania would be the end chapter of this, but it was actually the start of a new chapter, and that didn't really cross my mind. I thought we were gonna be done with this. So he's gonna be with the bloodline intertwined in this till next year. I think it'll be him versus Roman again 3 times in a row. That's what I think. I don't think his reign's gonna fully start until he's free of it, which sucks because, like I said, people have been kind of turning on him. But it's it's not his fault. What realistically, what can he do with Solo Sikoa? He cannot do it. I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. I think Dwayne is cool. If he does promos calling the crowd crack at it again, that'll be cool. That'll be awesome.
That stuff so much. It was so entertaining.
If he does that, I'll be fine with it. But until then, I'm not sick of the bloodline. I'm just it's been 4 years. It's just we have to lean off it a bit, but I don't think we will. Maybe next year it'll be the end, but that's what I thought this year.
Well, any hopes for Kevin and Cody coming out of that attack?
God, it's so weird because I feel like Cody's gonna be so intertwined with them leading up to Survivor Series. I feel like the War Games match is the Bloodline Civil War, and I feel like Cody's gonna be on one of Roman's team, and then you have Kevin now and this feud. I wonder if they'll just run that at Crown Jewel and just be done with it there, which kind of feels like a disservice to Kevin too, though.
Man, I hope not.
Have those so back to back.
It would be great if it was Bloodline versus Bloodline, somehow getting Cody out of that. We could just have Cody versus Kevin at Survivor Series. That's what I would like. But I'm thinking who would be in the old Bloodline? Jimmy, Jay, Roman, Sammy maybe, and get Paul Heyman in that singlet.
Oh yeah. I think in an ideal world, I'd love to see that.
But the only thing that happened at the media scrum afterwards of any note was the comment that we've already covered and got a lot of heads turning online because what can you say that hasn't been said already?
he needs to carry a tape recorder around like Tobias on Arrested Development and just play it back at the end of the day and see if anything sticks out to him. Like, oh, maybe nothing wrong with that.
The thing is, I'll tell you who's great at doing all this media stuff. Cody. And that's been a major loss to AEW because Cody was such a great company mouthpiece. I mean, and he is so amiable. Everybody likes him. So maybe just have him do all of the press for the company as well. But yeah, hey, what can you do? But guys, I think that brings us to the end. Is there anything else anybody wants to say before we wrap things up here?
I did really enjoy the show. I think it's quite easy to be like pull it apart and like when we talk about it in this setting that we like, you know, find like some of the negatives on it. But from watching it live, I really enjoyed the show. Like it was definitely one of the better non-Big 4, Big 5 WWE pay-per-views and PLEs that we've seen for quite a while. But I fully, respect your opinions and understand if some moments didn't quite hit. But I really enjoyed it.
I think the Cell match was so good that you've got to call the match a success overall.
And at this point, it's an all-timer.
And coming back to the show in the future, all we need to watch is that Cell match. So that's a time saver right there. But yeah, everybody, just want to get some plugs out of the way. Like I said, Adriana, host of the Heartbreak Wrestling podcast on YouTube under Heartbreak Wrestling, and you've got another episode coming soon for covering Wrestle Dream.
Yep, next week, hopefully covering Wrestling Dream and seeing how that goes.
Next, excellent stuff. So everybody, please run over there, give the channel a subscribe on YouTube. StuartYeah is also a streamer on this platform they call Twitch.
Yes, twitch.tv/StuartYeah. We've got some big wrestling watch-alongs coming up soon. We've got a busy 4 weeks. I think we've got Wrestle Dream, Bound for Glory, Halloween Havoc, and then Crown Jewel coming up. So yeah, it's going to be very busy coming up.
Amazing. Good stuff. And Allstar, you stream with you've got a great stream team with you and Peanut tackling some games.
Yeah, we do a stream with my 9-year-old daughter. Her nickname's Peanut. We stream kind of when she wants to because it was her idea and I don't want it to feel like a job. We are going to be doing a Create a Wrestler, I think tonight, probably in about an hour and a half. We have a podcast, Peanut Pontifications. You can find it on Spotify. It's another one of those that we do when she feels like it because it's a fun way for us to hang out.
Amazing stuff. Of course, I am live here most days on Twitch. Back tomorrow with the start of spooky season with Alien Isolation. At Psycho Fox on Twitter. The last O is a 0, F0X at the end. You can see everybody else's Twitter tags on the screen, but I'll just give them to you. For some reason, you're just hearing this in audio form. Adder_Allstar, StuartYeah, and CosmicAdri_ at the end. Well, that is the end of the Hook the Leg podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was fun.
And thank you everyone for watching. And until we see you next time, don't forget to hook the leg.